From Judge Moore to Al Franken to the president's Frankenstein tweet to Hollywood to even the Capitol in Sacramento, sexual harassment allegations are all over the United States. So Melissa and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown if he's ever seen anything like this before.
It's almost as if it's the wildfire in the world of politics and the accusations that are coming almost every day. Every politician I know, among those who are still alive, are shaking in their boots because they don't know at what point somebody's going to remember something they said or something they did that was at that time okay or explainable.
Well, maybe I wouldn't say it was okay, but it wasn't going to be brought up.
It was not a liability.
Yeah, I've had people privately tell me, you know what, I'm going back through my whole life at this point, having to go back through every interaction to say, oh, am I going to get in trouble for that? Or is this something that somebody's going to bring up now? Am I still on friendly terms with that person?
They can forget that, though. They can forget trying to go back to resurrect and recall everything they've ever done, because you're now in a position in this whole thing of having somebody say something that you have to deny. The minute you get to denial, you're convicted.
Well, Roy Moore certainly hasn't done himself any favors by giving a blanket denial and not any specific rebuttals.
The guy running for Senate in Alabama, right? In
Alabama, and he's been faced with very specific, credible, consistent accounts. And if he can't give a specific denial, if he just says, I never met this person whose yearbook I signed, then it's just not credible. But I think if you really did have a legitimate he said, she said, I think people would be, open to that. But right now, so far, what we've seen are very credible allegations.
You seem to have a skeptical look on your face. Well, is there such a thing as, what did they used to call it?
All I can say is, Senator Moore, to be, as he calls himself, I call him Judge Roy Bean Moore, and that's the old one that was there years ago. He's in a position where you start disproving one, but I always say, forget that one. How about the other five?
Right, I mean.
Okay, what about the Al Franken? That's on the other side.
But Al Franken is acknowledged and admitted every step that anybody is accusing him of, he's accepting the blame. That's part of the strategy of trying to say, I'm honest and pure, and I am trying my best to let you know I regret everything that I've ever done.
Well, let's not give Franken too much credit, right? I mean, he initially did not admit what had happened.
He said, I don't recall events that way, and then the photograph came out of him that he called the joke photograph, where he was hovering over her breasts, and then came the apology. And then
all of a sudden, okay, well, I can take responsibility. So let's not roll out the gold stars for him just yet.
This story is definitely moving in all different directions, and including Sacramento.
Here's how California Republicans in the House voted. 11 voted in favor of the tax plan, and 3 voted against it. That's Darrell Issa, Dana Rohrabacher, and Tom McClintock. Democrats are already running ads slamming those Republicans who voted yes.
Now, there's 2 rules for any legislative leader when you're trying to pass something controversial like this tax bill. One is to get enough votes to get the job done. But at the same time, you also are trying to protect your members who could face blowouts back home in districts if they're asked to vote yes. So we asked State Assembly Speaker, or former State Assembly Speaker Willie Brown, what's his take on Paul Ryan's handling of this vote and protecting or not protecting members in California when it comes to raising taxes. Here's what he had to say.
He did a very good job. When you're in the leadership and you have a surplus number of votes, you can actually turn to your members and say, if you have a problem in your district with voting for this, don't worry about it. We're going to move the program. And that's essentially what Paul Ryan did as Speaker of the House. And that's the way you manage the game.
Okay, so 3 Republicans opted out and said, we're not going to vote for this.
In California.
In California. The remaining said, we're in. 4 of those remaining are in districts that are in tight races. Why would they go for it?
I have no idea, but I'll point out also that Congressman McClintock, who is not in a swing district or a district where there seems to be much of a race going on for his seat, also voted against the tax plan. So it's odd that Darrell Issa and Dana Rohrabacher, who we know are in trouble, voted against it, but then McClintock voted against it as well.
Tom McClintock votes no on everything. If it's got a price tag one way or the other, he votes no. He did that right through his...
For 20 years, practically, I served with Tom McClintock. The only thing I ever remember him voting for was me. Beyond that, he didn't. For
And that was the only vote that
beyond
counted,
that,
right?
he didn't vote ever to spend a nickel.
But what that means, though, is that beyond Issa and Rohrabacher, you have now 5 other Republicans in these Hillary Clinton districts who voted in favor of it. And so I don't know that Paul Ryan really did protect them, since they ended up voting in favor.
No, but he gave them the option. He had a sufficient number of votes. Remember, he only needed like 218 or 219. He got 226 or 227. So he had a lot of room to play with for purposes of allowing people off the hook if they chose to get off.
So what do they get out of voting for it?
Why would they choose, why would they choose to vote for it?
Keep in mind, it was a dramatic benefit to a collection of Republican supporters. It is the confirmation of a promise made over the years for Republicans to do something about taxes that affects your pocket if you're the beneficiary. And that's what you have.
And it's going to be interesting here in California, because for years we've had a state income tax that's basically balanced the budget in California. But the whole idea was, yeah, you're getting hit with a high state income tax, but you'll be able to deduct it from your federal tax, so you're not feeling the pain.
Oh, but we're going to be feeling the pain. And also, we've got next year, we've got billions in bonds that voters are going to be voting on. And so those kind of parcel taxes that go with that.
Question about whether they're going to be tax deductible?
I doubt that voters are going to be in any mood to increase their taxes this time next year if this passes.